So who am I here with?
Mr. Apple,
And what subject do you teach?
language arts.
So I have some questions for our pre-project for you.
Okay.
First, do you feel as though you have a good understanding of American culture and literature in the 1930s?
A little bit, yes.
What happened historically during the 1930s in the U.S.?
Well, it was known as the Dirty 30s. The stock market crashed, and then we had a large drought that swept through the majority of the country, especially farmland, and we weren't able to produce enough goods to make. And inflation went way up, along with not only inflation, but with the stock market crash, prices went up, 25% unemployment at the time, or even more in some areas, and the farmers weren't able to produce enough crops to feed everyone.
What do you think were some major challenges people faced in the 1930s?
Well, jobs, food, money. There was run on banks. Banks were closing because they didn't have enough backing. And yeah, just survival at that point was, your day-to-day needs were really struggling with many people.
Would you say that something like the Great Depression that has happened in the 1930s could happen again or not? And
yeah,
why?
We've had stock market crashes before multiple times, and stock market's a little overweighted right now, so there's a possibility that could happen again. However, I don't think we'll have the part on like the food part, because due to new farming tactics, people are able to produce enough food and do that. So I think when it comes to that part, we'll be okay. We won't have the big droughts like that, or we'll still be able to produce enough food. So that should be good with that.
Do you believe in the idea of the American dream today?
Yep, it still is, because people are responsible for themselves and what happens to them. However much work you put in, you should reap the benefit of it. If people don't work very hard, well, then they won't reap much benefit, and that's their choice. Every life's about choices.
Do you think friendships were different back then compared to now? Why or why not?
I'd say definitely a bit, because it was more face-to-face interaction. That's how you had interaction with people. Now your interactions through a phone, through a computer, through things like that. Everyone's using their phone to communicate, where back then you had to get together with people.
Do you think the treatment of people was different back then compared to now? Why or why not?
Yeah, there was sexism, racism was a lot higher, due to, women were just finally starting to get some equal rights, even though that really didn't show up a lot. And then, it was other races in the country didn't have any rights at all, which was, unfortunate at the time.
And last question, think about the term censorship. Do you think book banning should happen? Why or why not?
The people who always want to ban books nowadays are the people who want to push their agenda. So that's the ironic part. They want to push their agenda for censorship, but as long as it fits their need. But yet some of the stuff they push should be censored as well, if one thing's censored. So it's kind of hard to believe in censorship, especially, they censorship with everything, and we're supposed to have free speech. So it's kind of ironic when they use censorship in a country built on free speech.
Thank you for the interview.
All right, thanks, Lily.